Jack Miller, the man MotoGP keeps on the edge of a cliff. Jack Miller's career has never been smooth sailing. He's fought, he's hustled, he's clawed his way into teams and podiums. But here's the brutal truth. Every season ends with the same damn question hanging over his head. Does Jack Miller deserve another seat in MotoGP? Or is this the year he gets kicked off the mountain? This isn't about one bad season, one mistake, or one dip in form. This is about a man who's lived his entire MotoGP career with a knife at his throat, with contracts that expire like milk left in the sun, and with managers and bosses who always seem more interested in the next shiny name on the market than the guy who's bleeding for them right now. And 2025 is no different. Let's break it down and go deep into the darkest corners of Miller's struggle. The curse of the one-year deal. Here's the thing about Jack Miller. He's never been the guy teams fully trust. Look back and you'll see a pattern. Ducati kept him dancing with one-year deals until they kicked him to KTM. KTM used him like a tool in development and then moved on when they smelled fresher blood. And now Yamaha, desperate for relevance in MotoGP, handed him a lifeline with Pramac. But what did they give him? Another one-year contract. Not 2 years, not 3. 1. Like they're testing a cheap rental bike before deciding if it's worth keeping. This is the knife Miller wakes up with every morning. Miguel Oliveira, his Pramac teammate, gets a 2-year deal through 2026. Jack? He's the disposable one. The expendable Aussie. The guy you can shuffle out the door when someone like Toprack Razgatlioglu comes knocking. And that's the real storm Miller is facing. Toprack's arrival. The Toprack earthquake. When Yamaha announced Toprack was coming to MotoGP in 2026, the earth shifted under Jack Miller's boots. Suddenly, it wasn't just about his results anymore. It was about survival. One of Pramac's 2 current riders has to go to make space for Toprack. Oliveira's got a 2-year deal. That leaves Miller exposed. Think about that. No matter how hard Jack pushes, no matter how much blood and sweat he spills, he's fighting uphill against a contract that already says he's disposable. Yamaha can spin it however they want, evaluating options, waiting for performance. But the truth is this: Miller is in a knife fight with his own teammate, and the referee, Yamaha, is already leaning toward the other guy. Toprack's signing isn't just a move for 2026. It's a message to Miller. You're a placeholder, a stopgap, a guy keeping the seat warm until the Turkish superstar shows up. And Miller knows it. That's why his words have sharpened into ultimatums. He's done begging, done waiting. His message is clear. If you want me, you want me. If you don't, then don't waste my time. But Yamaha isn't listening. They're stalling. And every day they delay is another day. Miller wakes up knowing his future is in someone else's hands. Suzuka 8 hours, Miller's counterpunch. Now, if you think Miller is just sitting back and whining, you're wrong. The guy has been swinging, trying to prove his worth in every arena Yamaha gives him. Enter the Suzuka 8 hours. Miller hasn't raced that event since 2017. He didn't need to do it. He could have skipped it, played safe, focused only on MotoGP. But he didn't. He suited up for Yamaha, teamed with Katsuyuki Nakasuga and Andrea Locatelli, and damn near won the thing. They finished second after a brutal duel with Honda's factory squad led by Johann Zarco. Miller traded blows with Zarco like a street fight on superbikes, laying down some of the fastest laps of the race. It was old-school Miller, raw, relentless, and pushing himself until his lungs burned. What's crazy is that this wasn't just some side event. It mattered. It showed Yamaha that Miller isn't just another MotoGP rider. He's a racer in the truest sense. He'll go anywhere, fight anyone on any bike, and give everything he has. That performance at Suzuka wasn't just about pride. It was a pitch. A desperate, savage pitch. Look what I can give you. Look what I mean to Yamaha. Look at how I can help develop your V4 project for 2026. Don't throw me away. But the question is, does Yamaha even care? Yamaha's waiting game. Yamaha promised Miller they'd decide on his contract before the summer break. That deadline's already dead and buried. Now they keep stalling, saying they're evaluating strategy. as if Miller hasn't already given them his answer every single weekend on the track. What this really means is Yamaha is torn between two paths: keep an experienced fighter like Miller, or gamble on a rookie. On paper, it should be an easy decision. Yamaha's developing a brand new V4 engine for 2026, and they're also cooking up an 850cc bike for 2027. Miller's ridden V4s before. He's bled in development trenches at KTM. He knows what it takes. If Yamaha were thinking logically, they'd lock him down immediately. But Yamaha hasn't been logical for years. They're a company that clings to nostalgia while drowning in failure. They talk about bold strategies, then hesitate when it's time to act. They've got a proven fighter in Miller, but instead of securing him, they're sitting on their hands, hypnotized by the shiny lure of rookies and potential. And while they stall, Miller burns. The constant outsider. Here's the heartbreaking part about Miller's career. No matter how much he gives, no matter how many podiums or moments of brilliance he delivers, he's always the outsider. Think back. Ducati treated him like a stand-in until Pecco Bagnaia was ready. KTM dangled him like bait until they could replace him with their next golden boy. And now Yamaha, who should be grateful for every point he's dragging out of their broken project, still doesn't trust him enough to give him stability. It's the same story, over and over. Jack Miller is MotoGP's eternal tryout, the guy who has to prove himself every damn year while others coast on contracts and politics, and yet he keeps coming back, keeps swinging, keeps proving people wrong. That's what makes his story so brutal and so human. The future, MotoGP or exile? Let's not sugarcoat it. If Miller loses his Pramac seat, he's staring at the exit door. World SBK is the most likely landing spot. Ducati and BMW could both be options, though Ducati's already eyeing Iker Lecuona. Miller and Superbikes wouldn't be the worst outcome. He'd fight, he'd win races, he'd be loved. But make no mistake, it would be exile from the mountain he's fought to stay on for over a decade. And that's the tragedy. Because Jack Miller belongs in MotoGP. He's the fighter in a room full of politicians, the guy who will risk it all when others play safe, the rider who makes races worth watching. But the sport doesn't value that anymore. MotoGP has turned into a numbers game, a spreadsheet sport, where marketing potential outweighs grit and heart. And in that cold equation, Miller keeps coming up short. The brutal truth. Jack Miller's career is a war against disposability. Every year he bleeds for teams that treat him like a backup plan. Every year he earns another chance, only to find the goalposts moved again. And now in 2025, the cycle is repeating. He's given Yamaha everything: results, Suzuka heroics, development insight. But still he waits, still he wonders if the axe will fall. Maybe Yamaha keeps him, maybe they don't. But the brutal truth is this: Jack Miller's struggle isn't about one contract, one race, or one rival. It's about a sport that chews up fighters and spits them out for marketing darlings. And through it all, Miller keeps swinging. That's why people love him. That's why people root for him. Because no matter how many times they push him to the edge of the cliff, Jack Miller refuses to fall.